Hey guys, I wanted to get on here today and offer a message of hope, and not one of those fluffy messages, but a hope based upon experience and a trial that I went through about 10 years ago. It started, and as I was walking through this trial, in the beginning particularly, I was in total isolation. And isolation is really hard, and it's a different type of isolation that I was in. We weren't in a pandemic and it wasn't a forced type of a thing, but totally isolated. And I know that in times like that, the fear is immense. The ability to think clearly is sometimes just not there at all. And the ability to see what can happen out of that trial is sometimes very hard. You know, there are moments that I just spent on my knees with my Bible in front of me, asking Lord to just guide me to the next best moment, next best step, to shine the light on the next best step, which is something He promises. And He did every single time. But there are moments that I would just cry out, Lord, I need help breathing, because it's just so hard. And sometimes trials can be excruciating. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I did to get through it. And now I look back 10 years later, and even though the trial was exhausting and it was fire-filled, it was worthwhile, because now I can actually sit back and help others as they walk through trial, because I've been through one myself that lasted several years. The first thing that I did, I touched on it a minute ago, was jump into prayer. I would sit sometimes in front of my tub on my knees. Sometimes the bathroom is the only quiet place in the house, and I would read the Word. You have to have a foundation of faith of some kind. So I encourage you to do that. That is very, very important. If you don't have that, I would say it's the number one thing I encourage you to do, and it's the only thing I really want you to remember from this video. The second one of those is to discover your purpose and your why in a trial. I often tell people that my brand, as I talk about it, was forged in that fire. Who I was, why I do what I do, what's my purpose. I know how strong I am. I know how much grit I have. I know I found how much I could persevere. I found out how loyal I was. I found out that I have a work ethic that's just tough, and that I'll grind away, and that not any trial is going to get me down. You can be forged through this fire. I was refined through the fire. I was in pain in that fire, but through it, my brand was forged in that fire. And who I am today, my ability to help and my ability to speak about these things was through that. So yes, it was hard, but worth every bit of it. The third thing that you can do in a trial, after you pray and after you discover all the things that we just talked about, this will end. So you have to start preparing for the future. So whether you're thinking, like, where's my business going, or where's my family going, or where am I going? This is a good reset moment. It's a good time to reset. And I know that while we have these fears, especially if they're financial, sometimes those are sometimes the worst. Health and financial, the worst. But if you can take a minute to reflect and go, where am I going? Where's my future going? And you can take time to start preparing for that. It's the best time to do it. Knowing your why, knowing why you do what you do, knowing your purpose. There's just like nothing better, because you know that you can only fall as far as your brand lets you fall, and that's who you are, what's your foundation, what do you believe in. So this fire comes, and this trial comes, and fear comes, and isolation, true physical isolation now comes. And the difference between those brands that make it and those people that make it are the ones that reflect in prayer, are the ones that go, why do I do what I do? They keep persevering, they keep pushing through. And that's what I wanted to encourage you with. Eventually this is going to end. So take this moment, if you have a little more time than you normally do, take this moment to reflect and prepare. Find out why you do what you do. A friend of mine said to me while I was in the midst of my trial, sage wisdom, she said, you know, you're really going to miss this time. And I look back on that and it brings tears to my eyes, because I looked at her at that time and I just thought, you are nuts. I'm not going to miss this at all. But I did. I missed it. And on moments where I was on a mountain peak, I missed the time in that just horrible, immense fire, because I was walking so closely with the Lord in that, and I was also discovering who I was and working my tail off to get through it and to come out on the other side. I was forged in that fire. My company was forged and built in that fire, and it's so much more meaningful. So fires and trials and the tsunamis in life that come, so much can happen in that. Innovation can happen, perseverance can happen, finding out who you are can happen, finding out why you do what you do can happen. So have faith, have hope, take time to reflect,